They ignored this aggressive ship until a human mechanic repaired it. It was known for wrecks, traps, and old skirmishes, the kind that left bodies scattered across space with no one to claim them. But something caught the eye of Lena Carter, a human mechanic, as she scanned the sector from the bridge of her small salvage ship, the Wayfarer. Her brow furrowed beneath the streaks of grease on her face. Floating in orbit around a shattered planetoid was a ship that shouldn't have existed. She had heard rumors of it, whispered among traders and scavengers. The Varkan Fury, a massive alien warship, aggressive and feared in countless skirmishes. Then months ago it had simply vanished, abandoned, left to drift in the void. Every faction had ignored it, assuming it was dead. Not Lena. "I see her," she whispered to herself, adjusting the ship's sensors. The Fury's hull was scarred, pockmarked with old plasma burns and scratched from collision with debris. Its engines were dark, silent. Most people saw only a wreck, but Lena saw potential. She docked carefully at a nearby salvage platform, ignoring the wary looks of the few alien traders working there. Aliens of all kinds watched her approach. The common reaction was amusement mixed with caution. Humans were not trusted in this sector. They were reckless, loud, and unpredictable. "What's she thinking?" A tall, spindly alien muttered, its many eyes fixed on Lena. "Probably another human chasing dead metal," a shorter one replied. "We've all learned our lesson. Stay away from the Fury." But Lena didn't stay away. She suited up and floated to the derelict warship in her small EVA pod. Every movement was careful, measured, but her heart raced. She had seen abandoned ships before, but this one was different. Even silent, it radiated power. It was dangerous, and she knew it. The outer hull was battered. Panels hung loose, exposing tangled conduits that hummed faintly. Lena's gloved hands worked quickly, scanning for energy signatures and weak points. She found one small port still active, a faint pulse of power deep within the ship's core systems. Her eyes sparkled. "Someone left her alive," she whispered. "Just barely." Returning to her salvage hub, Lena began the work. She scavenged what she could: spare circuits, energy cells, plasma regulators, anything that could patch the Fury's failing systems. Other humans in the hub shook their heads. "Lena, you're crazy. That ship's a death trap." She shrugged, wiping her greasy hands on her jumpsuit. "Or she's brilliant. I'm going to find out." Over the next days, Lena worked tirelessly. She learned the ship's strange alien engineering, studying circuits and pathways she had never seen before. Every panel she opened revealed systems designed to intimidate and destroy. The weapons bays were dormant, but their size and power were impressive, enough to obliterate small fleets. The alien AI that ran the ship, though damaged, still had fragments of thought, twitching and alive in the background code. "You're awake, aren't you?" Lena murmured, fingers flying over the control panels. "I know you don't trust me yet, but I can help." She started with basic repairs, rerouting power, patching circuits, replacing corroded plasma relays. Slowly, lights flickered to life. Consoles hummed, then glowed. The Fury exhaled in low, mechanical breaths, as if awakening from a long slumber. Outside, other ships watched in disbelief. Aliens sent small drones to scan the Fury, expecting to find only scrap, but sensors showed a partially functioning warship, powered by unknown energy. Traders whispered to one another, "It's impossible. That ship, it's alive." But Lena didn't care about the whispers. She focused on the work, communicating carefully with the AI she could now detect. It was fragmented, sometimes hostile, sometimes just confused. Who are you?" A broken voice echoed through the ship's comms. "A human," Lena said simply. "Name Lena Carter. I'm here to help you if you let me." The AI paused. Silence. Then slowly another pulse of energy ran through the ship. Systems blinked in sequence, responding to her touch. The AI was testing her intelligence. "You're different," it finally said. "Different is good," Lena replied. "Let me show you something." She spent another week patching systems, improvising solutions where alien design baffled her. Human ingenuity wasn't always neat, but it was flexible. Where the ship's circuits were complex and unfamiliar, Lena adapted, sometimes combining human tech with alien tech in ways the original designers could never have imagined. Her repairs attracted attention from nearby factions. Alien patrol ships hovered in orbit, curious and wary. They didn't attack, but they monitored her closely. They expected the Fury to explode or malfunction. They expected the human to fail. But Lena kept working, never doubting. At night, in the silence of space, she walked along the Fury's corridors in her EVA suit, inspecting systems physically. The corridors were dark, the hum of the ship like a heartbeat. For a moment she imagined the Fury as a living being, alone, abandoned, misunderstood. Much like humanity in some parts of the galaxy, she whispered, "We can do this together." And then, one day, she made a breakthrough. A section of the engine core, dormant for months, powered up for the first time. Lights danced across the hull, tiny at first, then spreading in a soft glow. The Fury stirred, moving slightly as if flexing its long-neglected muscles. Back at the hub, Lena's colleagues stared at their screens in disbelief. "She's moving," someone gasped. "Yes," Lena said simply, "she's alive and she's listening." The AI's voice came again, stronger, more coherent. "Human, you repaired." "Yes," Lena replied. "I fixed what I could. Now we need to figure out the rest, together." Outside, the alien observers whispered nervously. Some sent warnings back to their fleets. Some considered boarding until a flicker of light from the Fury startled them. The ship's weapons systems, long dormant, pulsed faintly, alive but unarmed. No one knew what to expect next. The Fury had always been feared. But now it was human-controlled, partially, and nobody in the galaxy knew what a human could do with a ship like this. For Lena, this was just the beginning. She had patched the engines. She had calmed the AI. But the ship was still incomplete, still dangerous, still capable of things she couldn't yet imagine. And she wouldn't stop. "They'll ignore me," she said quietly, "but I'm not afraid. They'll see. One day they'll see what humans can do." The stars outside twinkled coldly, indifferent to the tiny human in her suit, repairing a ship that could dominate fleets. But Lena didn't need them to notice. She had a goal, and she had her wits, and she knew human ingenuity could overcome anything. Hours later, as she monitored the Fury's systems from her pod, she noticed something that made her pulse quicken. The AI had begun self-repairing sections of the ship she hadn't even touched. It was learning from her. "Interesting," Lena muttered, a smile tugging at her lips. "You're not just a weapon, you're alive. And maybe, just maybe, you'll like humans after all." She leaned back, exhausted but triumphant. The stars outside stretched endlessly, but inside the Fury hummed, a sound she had come to recognize as potential. A warning to those who ignored the ship, and a challenge. Somewhere in the void, the galaxy laughed quietly at the human mechanic at the abandoned ship. "Let her try," they said. "She'll fail. That ship is dead." But Lena didn't hear them. She was already dreaming of possibilities, already imagining the moment when the Fury would awaken fully, and when the galaxy would have to pay attention. Because the Fury was no longer just an abandoned ship. It was a partner, a creation, a weapon of thought, not destruction. And Lena was human, and humans were never predictable. The Fury was awake. Not fully, not yet, but enough to make the stars feel smaller, the vacuum of space feel alive. Lena Carter floated through its darkened corridors, her hands moving over control panels with steady precision. She had learned its rhythms, its quirks, the way it hummed when a system worked correctly, and how it stuttered when it resisted repair. "Good morning," the AI's voice echoed softly through the ship, smoother now, more coherent than before. "Human, you are persistent." "I could say the same about you," Lena replied, smiling under her helmet. She tightened a panel cover, then stepped back to let the Fury's systems breathe. "I didn't come here to fight. I came here to fix. but we'll need to understand each other if we're going to go further." The AI hesitated. Lena could feel it, a fragment of alien thought tangled in circuits, unsure of what to make of her. Then slowly it responded. "Perhaps you are not like the others." That was all she needed. Lena had learned long ago that trust could not be demanded. It had to be earned, sometimes in seconds, sometimes over weeks. She had earned this much. Her first priority was the engines. If the Fury could move even a little, it could escape any unwanted attention. Lena traced power conduits through the hull, rerouted damaged circuits, and replaced a series of failing energy cells with ones she had modified herself. Human ingenuity at work. When she activated the main engines, the Fury trembled. Energy flowed smoothly, the hum of the propulsion system deep and alive. Lena grinned. "You're moving, not fast, not yet, but alive." "Alive," the AI repeated, almost tasting the word. "Human, why?" "Because you deserve it," Lena said simply. "Because no one else would try." Outside, the alien factions were beginning to stir. They had sent observers months ago, curious if anyone would attempt the impossible, fixing the Fury. Now, signals indicated partial engine activity. Small patrol ships hovered at the edge of sensor range. "Looks like the human is succeeding," one alien trader muttered to another, its voice high and thin. "Impossible, that ship should be dead." "Watch," said the other. "She'll fail before she gets far." But Lena didn't fail. She wouldn't. She spent hours mapping the Fury's systems. Its weapons were inactive but massive. Plasma cannons, missile bays, targeting arrays beyond anything humans had ever built. It was a warship designed to dominate, and she had no intention of using it as a weapon, at least not yet. First, it needed to learn control. Using a combination of human logic and improvisation, Lena began communicating with the AI in ways she hoped it could understand. She asked questions in broken binary, gestures, energy pulses, whatever worked. Slowly, the AI responded. "You are unpredictable," it said one cycle. "Thank you," Lena replied with a small laugh. "That's what humans do best." The more they communicated, the more Lena noticed subtle patterns in the Fury systems. It had defensive maneuvers built into its engines, a kind of instinct that no other pilot could predict. She tested it carefully, sending the ship through small adjustments, letting it respond naturally. The AI learned quickly, adapting to her input. This cooperation was the turning point. The Fury was no longer just a machine. It was thinking, learning, responding. And Lena was the first human it had ever trusted. Meanwhile, the galaxy was noticing. Aliens monitoring the sector sent small scout teams. They approached cautiously, weapons armed, expecting to see wreckage or failure. Instead, they detected a partially active warship and a human inside, tinkering with it like a child with a toy. They were furious. "Board her," one commander ordered. "She cannot be allowed to activate the Fury." But before they could, Lena had already prepared. She had rigged small defense systems, not as weapons but as deterrents, energy nets, electromagnetic pulses, and a series of hull traps that could disable boarding parties. She was human, and humans thought differently. Where aliens relied on strength and firepower, Lena relied on creativity and speed. The first scouting ship approached, sleek and armed, its sensors scanning for life signs. Lena watched it on the Fury's external cams. She activated a low-energy pulse. The scouting ship shivered, systems flickered, and it backed off, confused. Lena's eyes gleamed. "One down," she muttered. The AI spoke quietly, almost in wonder. "Human, you are clever." "And you're learning," Lena replied. "We make a good team." Days passed. Lena repaired more systems, each success making the Fury more responsive and powerful. She discovered alien systems that she couldn't understand at first, cloaking modules, energy shields, hidden maneuvering thrusters. But Lena had a knack for seeing patterns. Using logic and intuition, she slowly brought them online, integrating her own modifications. The Fury, once silent and dead, began to move on its own, though slowly, cautiously. It tested the vacuum, sending small probe signals and defensive sweeps into the sector. Lena guided it, letting it sense its surroundings. That was when the first real challenge arrived. A fleet of alien ships, alerted to the Fury's activity, entered the sector. They were fast, sleek, and armed with weapons designed to obliterate anything in minutes. Their commander, a sharp-eyed alien named Threxel, had heard the rumors. A human was inside the Fury repairing it. Ridiculous, he thought. Impossible. Humans were weak, reckless, insignificant. Destroy it, he ordered. It is an abandoned vessel. It will not survive our attack. And that human will not escape. But Lena was ready. The Fury, now partially awake, responded instinctively. Shields hummed to life, energy pulsed along the hull. Lena guided it through small maneuvers, weaving between debris and asteroid fields. The alien fleet fired, but the Fury's systems, partially repaired and partially improvisational, dodged every shot with uncanny timing. Threxel's jaw tightened. "Impossible," he muttered. "This is impossible." Inside the Fury, Lena laughed softly. "It's human ingenuity," she whispered to the AI. "We're unpredictable." The alien fleet was forced to retreat, their sensors confused, unable to anticipate the Fury's next move. Lena realized the significance. The Fury wasn't just alive. It was learning and adapting faster than any alien thought possible. And all because a human had repaired it, taught it, and earned its trust. For the AI, this was a revelation. "Human, you are unlike the others," it said. "You are clever, resourceful, bold." "And you're learning from me," Lena replied. "We're partners now. Together, we can do things no one else can imagine." The Fury moved further into the sector, exploring abandoned outposts and derelict ships. Lena scanned everything, collecting information that no one else had. She found old war maps, forgotten stations, and caches of alien tech. Each discovery made the Fury stronger, its systems more integrated, its AI more coherent. But not everyone in the galaxy was amused. News of a human controlling the Fury spread slowly through trade channels. Some laughed, some were curious, some grew fearful. No one had ever seen a human take control of a ship like this, let alone repair it. "Does she think she can control it?" one alien trader said to another. "Do humans even understand the danger?" "They understand more than we think," the other replied quietly. "Watch." "They always do." Lena continued her work, ignoring gossip and warnings. She experimented with the Fury's systems, testing engine bursts, shield configurations, and energy distribution. She even began to map its old tactical programs, understanding how the ship had once fought entire fleets. It was more than a warship now. Under her care, it was becoming a thinking, learning entity, a fusion of human creativity and alien engineering. One night, Lena floated in the observation deck, watching stars streak past. The Fury hummed softly around her, like a heartbeat she had nurtured back to life. She whispered, "We've come far, but this is just the beginning. Soon, the galaxy will have to notice us." The AI responded almost shyly. "Notice or fear?" "Both," Lena said with a grin. "Because humans, we never do anything halfway." And with that, the Fury activated a section of its systems that no human or alien had ever seen. Energy arcs traced along the hull, engines pulsed with raw power, and sensors began sweeping the sector with precision. It was alive, fully awake, and it was listening to Lena, to her commands, and to the galaxy around it. Somewhere in the distance, the alien fleet regrouped. Their sensors were still confused. Reports came in. The Fury had evaded, adapted, and outsmarted them. Threxel's face darkened. "Prepare for a full strike," he said. "That human is not to be underestimated." Lena, unaware of the exact magnitude of the attention she had drawn, continued her work. She modified systems, tested defensive algorithms, and began communicating more deeply with the AI. It was learning quickly, integrating her improvisations into its own logic. By now, the Fury was more than a ship. It was a testament to human ingenuity, a warning to anyone who assumed humans were weak or insignificant. And for Lena, it was clear. The galaxy had ignored the Fury, dismissed it as a relic. They had laughed at the human trying to repair it. But soon, very soon, the galaxy would have to pay attention, because humans were unpredictable, and the Fury, once abandoned and feared, was now a living monument to that unpredictability. The Fury was awake, fully awake. Its hull gleamed faintly under the distant stars, energy coursing through circuits that Lena Carter had repaired, modified, and optimized. Every system hummed in harmony, reacting instinctively to her commands. Its AI, once broken and hostile, now moved in sync with her thoughts, anticipating maneuvers before she even imagined them. Out in the sector, alien forces were gathering. Reports from scouting ships painted a clear picture. A human had repaired the Fury, and it was no longer dormant. They expected chaos. They expected failure. They expected the human to be destroyed. They were wrong. Lena sat in the bridge of the Fury, her fingers dancing across alien controls she barely understood in full, improvising with human intuition. She had no formal training with alien warships. No one did, but that was her advantage. Where alien fleets followed protocols, patterns, and predictable maneuvers, Lena improvised. She trusted the Fury's AI and her own instincts. Together, they would be unstoppable. "Are you ready?" she asked, her voice calm, almost casual. The AI responded instantly, smoothly, confidently. "I am ready, human. The fleet will not anticipate us. Their calculations are predictable." Lena smiled. "Good. Let's show them why humans are unpredictable." The alien fleet emerged from behind a dense asteroid field, dozens of ships, sleek and armed with weapons designed to obliterate any opponent. Commander Threxel's flagship led the formation, sensors locked on the Fury. "Target the human," he ordered. "Destroy the Fury before it adapts further." But Lena didn't panic. Panic was for those who followed rules blindly. She had something the aliens did not: creativity, intuition, and the Fury itself, a warship learning faster than any strategist could calculate. She activated a maneuver sequence she had been testing, directing the Fury to twist and glide among the asteroid field. Alien sensors flickered in confusion. The ships could not predict the Fury's path. Every shot they fired missed by meters or worse, collided with debris in the field. Threxel growled, "Impossible, that ship, she is too clever." The Fury responded instinctively, engines pulsing, shields adapting. Lena guided it with subtle inputs, letting the AI handle rapid adjustments while she focused on strategy. She didn't need to destroy them, not yet. The goal was control, intimidation, and proving a point. Energy arcs from the Fury's defensive systems swept across the nearest alien ships. No lives were lost, but systems went offline. One ship spun helplessly, forced to retreat. Another lost shields, forced to break formation. The fleet commander barked orders, but every attempt to predict the Fury failed. The human had turned the abandoned warship into a dynamic, adaptive weapon of thought, outmaneuvering entire fleets without needing brute force. Inside the Fury, Lena's mind raced. She anticipated their moves, redirected the AI's defenses, and improvised countermeasures on the fly. She activated secondary thrusters she had repaired, pushing the Fury through impossible angles. She had taught the AI to learn from her improvisation, making each reaction faster and smarter. The aliens were frustrated. Every traditional strategy failed. Every weapon they deployed was dodged or countered. And all the while, Lena's calm voice guided the Fury. "Left 30 degrees, increase thrust, arc shields forward. Now let's sweep the debris field and circle around them." The AI obeyed instantly. The Fury's hull glimmered as energy flared across adaptive shields. Alien ships were forced into retreating formations, their attacks disorganized, their morale shaken. Commander Threxel gritted his teeth. This is impossible. She cannot think like this. No human can. But Lena knew better. Humans didn't just fight with weapons. They fought with brains, creativity, and stubborn determination. That was her advantage. And now, with the Fury, that advantage had become terrifyingly real. The engagement continued, long into the void of space. Lena guided the Fury to lure the enemy into asteroid fields, into narrow canyons, into zones where alien tactics failed. She anticipated every move, predicting formations before Threxel could. Finally, the alien commander called for a retreat. We cannot compete. The human, she has controlled the Fury, she has outthought us all. Lena, listening through the Fury's sensors, allowed herself a small, triumphant smile. Lesson learned, she whispered. Never underestimate humans. But the battle wasn't over. The galaxy had noticed. Reports of a human controlling an abandoned warship reached every corner of the sector. Traders, patrols, and even distant councils were discussing her feat. Some were alarmed. Some were curious. Most were forced to reconsider what humans were capable of. The Fury, now fully operational, glowed softly with a hum of energy. Lena had repaired, modified, and awakened it, but the ship itself had begun to adapt autonomously, integrating her improvisations into its logic. It was no longer just a machine. It was a partner, a thinking entity capable of learning and acting independently. Back at her small salvage hub, Lena received messages from distant human allies. They had heard rumors, distant trade whispers of a human controlling the Fury. Some congratulated her, some warned her, some were in awe. Lena ignored them. Her focus remained on the Fury, on its potential, and on the galaxy watching from afar. She knew one thing: humans were underestimated, and that underestimation would never happen again. She spent the next cycles exploring the Fury systems further. The ship revealed secrets long forgotten: hidden energy reserves, cloaking modules, and tactical programs designed for war the galaxy hadn't seen in decades. Lena integrated them carefully, respecting the AI's learning pattern. She didn't want to dominate the ship, she wanted a partnership. And the Fury responded, its systems now synchronized with her commands, its AI anticipating her thoughts before she even acted. Together, they became more than human and machine. They became a force of ingenuity, unpredictability, and precision. When the alien fleets regrouped for another attack, Lena was ready. This time, she didn't just dodge or evade. She guided the Fury to project false signals, confusing sensors, creating phantom ships, and scattering enemy formations. Alien captains panicked as their weapons targeted empty space. Threxel could only watch in disbelief. How does she do this?" he muttered. "It's impossible. Humans are unpredictable." Exactly. Lena took advantage of their confusion. She activated a subtle energy pulse along the Fury's hull, designed not to destroy but to disable systems temporarily. Alien ships spun helplessly. One by one, they withdrew, unable to cope with a human's ingenuity paired with the Fury's learning capabilities. Victory was hers, not through brute force, not through overwhelming numbers, but through cleverness, adaptability, and partnership. The galaxy had witnessed something remarkable. The aftermath was extraordinary. Stories of the human and the Fury spread like wildfire. Aliens whispered about the human who had repaired an abandoned warship, who had outsmarted fleets, who had made the impossible look effortless. Humans were no longer seen as weak, unpredictable, or insignificant. Lena, however, didn't celebrate. She continued to refine the Fury, exploring every system, integrating her own human intuition into alien logic. She trained with the AI, running simulations, testing tactics, and improving coordination. Somewhere deep inside, she knew the galaxy had underestimated humans for centuries. And now, that mistake would never be repeated. The Fury, once abandoned and feared, was now alive, powerful, and guided by human ingenuity. Lena had taken a relic of destruction and turned it into a symbol of resourcefulness, creativity, and boldness, the hallmarks of humanity. She floated in the observation deck one final time, looking at the stars stretching endlessly into the void. "We've come far," she whispered to the Fury. "But this is just the beginning. The galaxy hasn't seen the best of us yet." The AI responded, now fully coherent, almost fondly. "Human, you are remarkable. Together we are unstoppable." "Yes," Lena said, smiling, "because humans, we never do anything halfway." And with that, the Fury's engines pulsed brightly, sending ripples of energy across the sector. Ships watched from afar, fleets paused, and the galaxy took notice. The abandoned warship, once ignored and dismissed, had become a living testament to humanity's brilliance. The galaxy would never underestimate humans again, and Lena Carter, she had only begun. The stars stretched on, cold and indifferent, but humanity had left its mark. One human, one warship, one act of ingenuity, proof that intelligence, courage, and stubborn determination could overcome anything. The Fury hummed beneath her hands, alive, learning, ready. Together, they would explore the galaxy, challenge the old rules, and prove to every race that humans were unpredictable, unstoppable, and unforgettable. And so, the abandoned ship became a legend, and Lena Carter became a symbol, a reminder to the galaxy that when humans repaired what others abandoned, they could change the course of history.